You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
host of Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. You can subscribe to Locked On Rays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Odyssey, and online at fanstreamsports.com. We're also on YouTube as well. Be sure to follow us there and on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And we are taking your emails to lockedonrays@gmail.com. This episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join Ulises and I this week to get in on the Tampa Bay Rays action and conversation. That is Spotify Green Room. Well, Ulises, the Tampa Bay Rays lost last night to the Toronto Blue Jays by a score of 4-2. They had plenty of opportunities offensively, but could not capitalize throughout the night, really, whatsoever.
If you can summarize this game in 2 words, it would be missed opportunities. Mm-hmm. Because there were so many of them. And if you look at what Manoah was giving to the Rays, because he did give them 6 walks and a hit batsman, that's 7 free runners. And I believe he pitched 6 innings, correct? He didn't reach the 7th.
Let me double check that. He pitched 6 innings.
Okay.
Yes.
So then he's giving you 1 over the innings pitched. You got to capitalize on that. Yeah. You have to do that. There wasn't any clutch hit. I remember Meadows missed a fastball down Broadway with men on. Mm-hmm. I believe Brandon Lau was on third, and he couldn't bring him in. You know, those are the things that you rarely see from this team. So that's why this loss stings a little bit, but. These games are going to happen. Again, the team is 93-59. Correct, Kevin? 93-59.
You got it. Yep.
Well, 93-59. We always said that this team was going to lose 60 games. So 10 games left. They're just at 59. It's okay, but this one stinks a little bit. They because they had the runners to win this game.
Right. And not just the walks in the hit batsman by Manoah, but collectively, the Blue Jays had 11 walks and the hit batsman.
Yeah.
I mean, you had it sort of prime opportunity in the 9th. I thought it was going to be another certified Tampa Bay Rays comeback.
Yeah.
Alas, it didn't happen. Talk about a game of inches. If Wendell doesn't have that foul ball to begin that at bat against Jordan Romano, maybe we're talking about a different story. But Manoah also gave up those 5 hits too. So 5 hits, 6 walks, plus the hit batsman. And again, credit to him. Credit to he very well is in the Rookie of the Year conversation.
Of course.
When he got into trouble, started the inning with trouble, he didn't let that affect him. And he did what we knew he was going to do, the back foot slider. And then he also kind of shifted away from that at times and just, I'm going to try to overpower you with my rising fastball. And he did that to retire some hitters. But there were certainly some opportunities where the Rays could have done some damage on some pitches that, BA pointed out, they either foul off or they pop out or fly out. It's like he's kind of giving you a cookie, and you got to take advantage of that cookie at some point. I know it's difficult because Nelson Cruz isn't in the lineup and Wander Franco isn't in the lineup. And that does add, I think, a completely different dynamic. But there's still, I would feel enough good guys in that lineup to be able to do something against. How many times have the Rays faced Manoah now? I mean, it's been back-to-back starts, and then four total
starts, and 3 of them they haven't been able to figure him out, which is not good news for the Rays, seeing as they're an interdivisional rival. So they're going to see Manoah plenty in the next few years. So they had the opportunity, so that's why it sucks. Again, sometimes that the other team's going to play well too. But going back to that 9th inning, that had Rays comeback win all over it. Tremendous fight. If we're gonna if we're gonna talk about the negatives, we got to talk about the positives. And the positives was Ji-Man Choi, Yandy Diaz, and Randy Arozarena drew 2 out walks back to back on Romano. there in the ninth. And Joey Wendell put a good piece of wood. Again, the ninth inning was a microcosm of the whole game. They had runners on base. They took their walks. They were patient at the plate. But when it came to that clutch hit, they were just off.
Yeah.
They were just off. So basically the ninth inning, if you just saw the ninth inning, you saw the whole game. That was the whole game.
Right.
That was the whole game. So another thing I'd like to point out is Brendan Lau. Good to see Brendan Lau have a good game with the bat. I will spotlight his tagging to advance to third, testing Hernandez's arm. I believe that there are so many wasted opportunities of taking an extra base in baseball. I mean, from not only from second to third, from third to home, but from first to second. I don't know why we don't see more tagging from first to second, because it's out there. The possibilities are endless to gain that extra base. So anytime a Rays runner does do that, I love that. The baseball awareness was there. So good for Brendan Lau.
I thought you were also going to, in the same breath, praise Brandon Lau, which great lineup construction, by the way, again, for the Rays, by seeing that Brandon Lau might be in line for a good day. Let's put him at the top of the order, just like they did with Yandy Diaz on Monday. But I thought the Brandon Lau base running, you were also going to mention Austin Meadows and his lack thereof of base running and getting picked off against Teoscar Hernandez trying to go from first to third. We had some base running gaffes on Monday with Kevin Kiermaier, who we might have to mention again later on in the show for another reason. But Austin Meadows, I went back and looked, and there's some more from this game that I want to unpack. But before we move along here, Austin Meadows on that play trying to go from first to third. Look, I appreciate the aggressiveness. I think you should always be looking to go from first to third. But I think it was Joey Wendell that had that RBI hit that hit a really hard hit ball, but shallow. Teoscar Hernandez is coming in, playing it on one hop. Austin Meadows hadn't even gotten to second, and Teoscar Hernandez was already in a position to throw or already ready to make his – I mean, he was winding up to make that throw to third. So I don't know. I would have to look at –
No, you're right.
I don't know if it was Linares who was giving him the turn, because Linares has had his issues as well, but – we have to understand Meadows is not fleet of foot, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
We talked about sprint speed on trivia. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. And when I asked you to name the 5 slowest Rays runners, you did that beautifully, by the way. Great job. But who was the 6th slowest? Austin Meadows.
Yeah.
So, you have to know. I don't know if that was Linares. I don't know if that was Meadows. I would think that was Linares. Why? Because the play's happening behind Meadows when he's going first to third. So I don't think he's getting some neck problems there looking behind his shoulder. So he's looking in front of him, and Linares is probably saying, go, go, go. So they were testing his arm. They had just tested Hernandez's arm with Brendan Lau tagging from second to third. Again, Teoscar, everybody's got an ego. They're all competitors. Right. So if you allowed that runner to go to third, then you have the opportunity to kind of redeem yourself. And he redeemed himself. It was a good throw. It was a good tag. It was unfortunate. Again, just the little things yesterday. They did enough. I'd rather this team be aggressive than not aggressive on the base pass. 100%. Yeah. And I know that they've had some sloppy, base running lately, but I'll take that over just, going from station to station and grounding into double plays and not doing some hit and run action. I would love to see more hit and run action from this team, if I'm honest with you. But I think that'll come a little bit better, like you said, with Nelson Cruz and Wander Franco back in the lineup. We can see a little bit more of that dynamic. But, again, game of inches, it stinks.
There's a couple other things I want to mention about this game and the data card snafu with Kevin Kiermaier. First, Ulises, something that is positive that we can talk about, Spotify Green Room. I think we can agree on that.
Oh, my goodness. Can we agree on that? This episode is brought to you by Green Room. Green Room is the first social audio platform made for sports fans. The app is free to download, and once you're in, you can talk with us, other fans, athletes, and insiders in real time about your favorite team or sport. Go download the free Green Room app right now, currently available on all iOS devices. Be sure to create a profile, link your Twitter, and join the MLB group and the Rays group for the latest league updates. Green Room, changing the way we talk sports.
BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline.ag continues to be the number one source for everything football. So head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive a 100% welcome bonus. That is double your initial deposit just for signing up. So don't forget to use the promo code NFL100, NFL, the numerals 100. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline, it is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. They are your online sportsbook experts. Okay, Ulises, I knew we pretty much could observe coming in that the Rays were going to have Rasmussen be the 5-and-dive guy.
Yeah.
But again, something in me still wishes that, and I know 70 pitches, I get that, but I would have liked to see him perhaps rolled out for the 6th, knowing that you didn't have a lot of options after pretty much emptying the bullpen on Monday, and you go to Nick Anderson in what was it, a tie ball game at the time, and then they had to go to Michael Wacha, relegated to the bullpen. So that was an unfortunate situation as well. I would, again, just me speaking personally, I would love to see Raz out there and at least start the 6th, maybe get an out in the 6th.
You're such
and
a
then bring
boomer.
in Nick Anderson.
Ugh.
I know.
Oh, boomer. You don't know that the database says 5-and-dive, Kevin? Jeez. Get used to it, man. It's the new type of baseball. Yeah, it would have been nice. But again, I don't fault this on the pitchers whatsoever.
Yeah.
I know. Look, did Wacha allow a run? Yeah, but I'd rather him look how he looked yesterday,
right,
than the last time he went back with the cutter. I'll say that. I think that new role was that was pretty good to see him like that, emptying the tank, providing some relief in the back end. Nick Anderson is not the same guy. He's not the same guy. He's not getting whiffs, man. His whiff percentage. Let's talk numbers here. Mm-hmm. His whiff percentage was at 37% during 2019 and 2020, hovering around 37. It now sits at 11.8%. So not getting whiffs anymore. He's not fooling anybody. His zone contact percentage was around 70%. That has skyrocketed now to 91%, 90.5 to be exact. The barrel percentage increased 20 points from 2020. So he's not fooling anybody. They're making much more contact in the zone with him, and they're barreling way more things. It's the three things that it's a recipe for disaster right now. So it's unfortunate because this guy was untouchable, Kevin. I mean, he was as shut down as it comes. So I don't know what they're going to do. If you're Cash, Kevin, I know you're Kevin, but you're not Cash. Yeah. But Kevin, if you're Cash, what do you do here? Do you keep throwing him in low leverage situations? Because I think that was probably the highest leverage situation that he has been thrown in 2021. And
mixed results. It was certainly mixed results. And quite frankly, that could have been even worse.
Yeah.
He had walked Marcus Semien and then gives up a 110-mile-per-hour single to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Then the sac fly came, but he got bailed out by Joey Wendle on a leaping catch. The hardest hit ball of the night was Teoscar Hernandez right into Joey Wendle's glove that he had to reach up into. And you made this point. Look, I don't know what other we got to wait and see what Kittredge's status is.
Sure.
And go from there. I would continue to, again, if I had my druthers, I would have tried to roll out Rasmussen for another inning or at least another batter or two, and then maybe bring in Nick Anderson and say, okay, buddy, you don't have to get all 3 outs. Maybe you just have to get 2 outs here, and then turn it, not facing the meat of the order. I know most of the Blue Jays order is pretty hefty there, but you're rolling up with Semien, Vladdy, and
so
Bichette.
You would have switched the walk-up positioning to Anderson?
I mean, theoretically, I would have loved to bring out Rasmussen for another batter or two.
Say you can't. Say you can't do Rasmussen because 5 and dive. Do we put Walker back to back with Ras?
Maybe, yeah. I would almost rather do that than see Nick Anderson. And
he just doesn't have it.
No, he doesn't. And you made a very astute point. We were watching the game yesterday. The Rays very, very well may have, and to some or no fault of their own, ruined Nick Anderson by the overuse last year in the playoffs.
Is that Nick Anderson?
It might be.
Oh my goodness.
Agreeing with me.
Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
We're just stating numbers, man. Yeah, look, it's kind of, I think I said this to you yesterday. With the postseason, they were in the desert and they rode this horse until they reached the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then that horse just plummeted into the sand. That seems like kind of what Nick Anderson is doing right now. He just carried the team, carried, and until he no longer has any. And it doesn't look like he has the same stuff. He doesn't have the same fastball velocity. He doesn't have the same accurate control of the zone or his pitches. And the curveball has looked, iffy at times. I feel like I said the best pitch that he had was a curveball down in the zone to Bichette. But when I looked at it again, it was kind of a meatball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a bad swing from Bichette. But if Bichette kind of stays back on it, that thing is launched into the Devil Ray tank. So it's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame what's happening with Nick.
Yeah, it's really crazy because I went back and looked at the postseason numbers. And if we recall, I mean, he pitched virtually just as much in the playoffs as he did in that entire 2020 regular season.
I think I remember 16 innings in the regular season in 2020 and like 14 innings in the postseason, wasn't it?
Yeah. And also consider that it wasn't like, oh, we're just using you 1 inning here, 1 inning there. No. He was almost used as a bulk guy at times, going 2 innings, 2 2/3. Like there were multiple times where he was being used almost in a Colin McHugh like role, but multiple days in a row.
Multiple days in a row, no off days during the postseason last year, and worst of all, never actually having that type of role ever in his life. So if we you got to learn from that. So that this is the lesson. Did they learn? They learn that you can't do that to a relief pitcher, no matter how good they are. If that is learned, and you can't put a guy in a situation in October that they haven't ever done before, that makes me wonder. Raz, Shane Baz, never touching the 6th inning. Would they actually do the same thing?
That is tough.
Did they learn the lesson of not putting them in a situation where they've never been before? Touch 80 pitches, 90 pitches. I know Shane has done it in AAA. Raz hasn't. So it's something to keep watch.
Yeah, and again, it might sound now kind of hypocritical to say I'm not trying to over Rasmussen here, but again, he's shown that he can comfortably handle 55, 60, 70 pitches. And again, just credit to him too for another consistent, solid outing against.
And he wasn't happy.
Yeah,
Kevin. He wasn't happy on his post-game comments. I feel like he did terrific.
Yeah, and I know that, we've talked about the hard hit rate. He can get hit hard, but what he does, when he does allow that contact, he allows it to the right spot. He allows it right into the shift where Brandon Lau is right there, wherever it may be. So it tells me that, like, it's funny because we talk about his big velocity fastball, and he does have that, but he doesn't get, you would think, oh, man, he must be racking up 7, 8, 9 strikeouts like Alek Manoah, but
Right.
it's really only 2, 3, 4 strikeouts per appearance. So it tells me that the fastball, at least to my understanding, may not have the greatest spin, movement, or shape, but he can locate it where he wants to. Okay, catcher puts the glove here. I'm going to put it there and go with the flow on that.
And to that point, that also tells me if he's getting hit very hard, which he is, and the defenders are right there, that also tells me he's executing the plan. Mm-hmm. He's executing what they're doing, because sometimes if you have the shift, right, you have to pinpoint that specific pitch in a part of the zone, make it enticing enough to get some contact, and then you get a double play or you get a line out, whatever, where the defenders are. You have to also execute that pitch. Mm-hmm. So he's executing his pitches where they are thinking that the ball is going to go if it gets hit, and that's usually what happens. So good for Drew Rasmussen to again another stable outing. Just knowing what to expect from a starter. I had forgotten that. Because this whole season since Glasnow went down, you haven't really been able to say, "Oh, okay, we're gonna get 5 innings and no runs allowed." That's been the case with Drew.
Yeah, and last thing here before we move along, and I know you've had your reservations at times about Peter Fairbanks, but I would rather see Peter Fairbanks enter into the situation that Nick Anderson was entered into.
Yes. Yesterday. I mean, right now in the hierarchy ladder of the bullpen, I would put Fairbanks before Nick Anderson for sure. Yeah. But why wasn't he utilized yesterday? I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes, maybe guys have a headache or they're not feeling well, but he was not scheduled to pitch, but he was a fresh arm available. And so maybe, they didn't want to use him back-to-back days, in the series here with the Jays. So we'll see, but it was a tough one.
Yeah. Maybe Nick Anderson, Pete Fairbanks, Drew Rasmussen, maybe the entire offense of the Rays, they just need a little pick-me-up, maybe a little Built Bar action to get them through, especially today, day game, 3:30 p.m.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. And they all have different personalities, just like Built Bar. They have so many different flavors. You've got raspberry, mint brownie, strawberry, cookies and cream, German chocolate. If you can't decide on a flavor, you can also get a mix box where you'll get 2 of each of the 9 flavors, because they're not only great in taste, but they're also healthy too. Let's talk about the numbers here. 17 to 18 grams protein. Calories are ranging from 130 to 180. Only 4 to 5 grams sugar. Only 4 to 5 grams net carbs. They're amazing tasting, and they're healthy too. So get yourself a box today at built.com. Remember to use that promo code though, LOCKED15, LOCKED15 will get you 15% off at built.com.
We also want to tell you about a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle. DirecTV Stream brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, which means you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. And the best part of it all, there's no annual contract. Ulises loves that. We all love that, actually. So stop waiting and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. Again, that is directtv.com.
Kevin, are we going to talk about the snafu with the card, or
go ahead?
Sweep it under the rug.
What's your take on Cardgate involving Kevin Kiermaier?
I've got so many things to say about this. Number one, finally, we get some animosity between these two teams.
Yeah, it's nice.
They've always played really nice against each other, and it's nice. But when they're a good team, you kind of want to feel that vitriol a little bit as a fan, and we really haven't seen that. This is like the biggest scandal between the teams. So I guess just as a warmongerer between teams, I feel like this was needed. Number two, Kirk needs to, if it's something, look back, make sure you have it before you're leaving off the field, especially after there was a play at the plate. How about that, Kirk? They said it was a very important car. Oh my gosh, why? Oh, it has the nuclear codes. Oh my God,
Yeah.
how do they have? If it's that important, make sure you have it on you before you exit the play, especially after a play at the plate. Number 3, Kevin.
Yes.
Your boy from Indiana, your namesake, Kevin Kiermaier.
The outlaw, literally now.
Yeah, literally now.
Stealing data cards.
My man, he needs to
lawyer up.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Kevin Kiermaier, bro, you're a great defender. Face of the franchise, all of that. You got to minimize the time in front of the mic. Maybe you can tell me the same thing. Ulises, you need to stop talking at the mic. Fine. Okay, I'll take it. But he has been in the league since 2013. You can't have diarrhea of the mouth every time that you have a mic in front of you. That was the most, it was like the Rosarena press conference. Like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, you're just giving away everything. So I don't know. Those are my biggest takeaways. Just, I don't know how you feel about those 3 things, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, he needs to lawyer up, plead the fifth. Sometimes fewer words are better than more words. It seems like if you look at that transcribed interview comment with the Toronto media, it was word soup and just going around in circles. I couldn't make any sense of it, quite frankly. So maybe he did a good job because I didn't know what the hell he was trying to say.
Maybe
at
that
the
was
end of the day.
Maybe that was the point.
I
So,
guess
I don't know.
I think to simplify, he initially thought that the card might have been his outfield card.
Right.
And looking at the replay, it looks like he glances at it for a second, then picks it up, and then walks back to the dugout, and of course hands it off to Paul Hoover. And then the Blue Jays send a bat boy over to try to retrieve the data card, and the Rays are like, well, hey, finders keepers sort of a deal. We're not hitting Robbie Ray tonight anyway for the most part. So it's one of those things there. But let me ask this. Is what Kevin Kiermaier did and what the Rays did, is it cheating, gamesmanship, or some gray area with that?
I think there's a little bit of a gamesmanship too.
Yeah.
I think there's also a little bit of ego. Kevin Kiermaier wanted to score. He gets caught, and he looked a little bit foolish at the plate there. Trying to get a little league inside the park home run. He gets caught. The ego's bruised, right? Everybody's ego would be bruised at that point. He sees an opportunity to kind of like get back at them. Right. Oh, okay. You got me out. Well, I'll take your card. See how you like that. So I feel like, there's a little bit of that gamesmanship. I don't think it's cheating. I don't know. The Toronto Blue Jays just kept insisting there were, so much information. So important. Yeah. When I leave the house, what I do, I pat myself. I'm like, oh, phone, oh, keys, oh, wallet. I'm ready to go. Yeah. Same thing for Alejandro Kirk and every other catcher that has nuclear codes somehow on the wristband. Right. Make sure you have the nuclear codes before you exit, especially when there was just a play at the plate. So, no, I don't think it's cheating. There is gamesmanship 100%.
And gamesmanship is part of the game. It happens in all sports and every sport. Think about the nefarious activities and maybe illegal activities that happen in football fumble piles.
Oh my goodness.
You've got the flopping situation in soccer and basketball.
Yeah.
There's so many things, many things. And I know that baseball seemingly can't go without a great cheating scandal, whether it be steroids, trash cans, spider tack, whatever it may be. But it's not like the Rays, this was their plan going into the game. Do whatever you can to make sure you get that data card from Alejandro.
No.
It's not like they, to my knowledge anyway, it's not like from behind home plate, they've got a scout with a telescope that is trying to lean in and read in on Kirk's wrist there. And here's the thing with the data card. Like, I wonder about how important that thing really is and how secretive. Like, what is on that card that the Rays don't already know about themselves and their hitters? To me, I would think I would, of course, have to talk to somebody within baseball, but it basically would just list the hot and cold zones of said hitters. And okay, this is the type of pitch that this guy struggles with in this count. Now, if it's like calling a game, like, okay, make sure first at bat, first pitch to Brandon Lau is this. Second at bat, first pitch to Brandon Lau is this. And this is what, okay, when you get to 2 strikes, make sure you throw this here and there. Okay, maybe that's a little bit different, but it seemed like a pretty small data card. I don't know how much you can really fit on that thing.
Right. It's a small size card. So, maybe it has the combination of signs when there's a man at second and it could give them the advantage of, oh, now they know our signs.
Yeah.
So that just kind of brings the point to the table. Perhaps we have to stop putting so much of the outside world, of the outside knowledge into the game. Like, if you need to print stuff, don't have it on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's a game. It's baseball.
Yeah.
You've played it since you were 5 years old, except if you're Nelson Cruz, who started at 16, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you've played this game for a long time. I know it's a lot of information to hold, but that's your problem. That's your problem. You are going into this play a field with this information. You better take care of that information. You better take care of it. Because then, if you lose it, you lost it. I mean, I remember when I was 8 years old and I lost my Game Boy Color. I went back to the place 2 minutes after and it was stolen. My Game Boy Color, that was the purple transparent one, and it had the yellow Pokemon game on it. I lost that. It was 2 minutes, but it was lost. Somebody stole it.
Yeah.
You got to learn. If it's precious to you, you got to keep things on your person.
Right. And it's not like, again, I make this joke about a telescope and Kevin Kiermaier deliberately trying to get a hold of Kirk's wristband. It's not like that was the game plan. It's not like the Rays in this entire year, this entire series. All right, can we send somebody?
That dang data card, right?
Yeah. Can we send somebody into the clubhouse, steal a couple iPads and their sheets and scouting reports? Man. No, I don't think there's any of that involved. Again, runner at second, isn't your job kind of to steal signs?
Yeah.
Like, it's part of the game, within the game, on the field. The other problem I have with all of this is, and I am no KK apologist by any means. I have been very vocal about some of my criticism levied towards him. But I love how, like, when this is the first time I think the national media has brought up Kevin Kiermaier in ages. So it takes something like this for you to mention and acknowledge Kiermaier as a player. And they don't even, in these articles, they don't even mention the pedigree of Kiermaier, the Gold Gloves,
three-time Gold Glove, Platinum Glove award winner, most defensive runs saved since the damn category was invented. Like,
one of the longest tenured Rays players, I think, in history, with more roster churn than ever. And it's just Rays outfielder Kevin Kiermaier stole a data card, and like it's
awful. It's awful. I mean, I'm not happy about it either. Again, I don't think it's cheating. I think it's gamesmanship, and but again, sometimes less is more.
Yeah. Some comments here. Ben Rosa says, that's really shocking seeing KK pick that up. Would love to give him the benefit of the doubt, but no clue what he was thinking. Again, I think that was maybe before learning some more of the information about this entire situation. Mason McVeigh says, in my opinion, if the other team has to have cards on players and those cards fall onto the turf, then all is fair game. It's not like he went and picked it up from their dugout. The coach could easily call in pitches or sign in how they want to pitch to every batter. And then Quinlan Deegan, Ulises is on your side here, not going to lie, this whole season has felt like these teams got along a little too well. I don't need Yankees level vitriol, but a little controversy is certainly good juice down the stretch. I like it. Hey, this is a sport. This is a game.
Yeah.
We're not talking about world peace here.
No. We're not talking about nuclear codes either.
Yes,
okay. So stop.
Super important stuff.
Oh,
the
my
data
God.
cards.
Oh man. Change the signs. Change the signs. How about that?
Data card date. Ulises, do the Rays win tonight's game? Or this afternoon's game, I should say.
It's going to be tough because Patiño has really been on a rut lately. Last 13 innings pitched, allowing 10 runs, 17 hits, 6 walks. So it hasn't been pretty for him. So hopefully he can, give a little Drew, give a little Shane to the Blue Jays and come out and bounce back.
I see people on social media saying today's game is a must-win game. Can we just stop? Relax. Okay, if they lose, they're still very well in place to win the division. And
this is when to become a boomer, Kevin.
Yeah.
This is when to become a boomer. You don't remember 2010, people? You don't remember winning the division on the last day?
Right.
Kevin, it's okay. Relax. You know when you don't relax? When it's 2010 and the division is at stake the last day of the season.
Yes, I agree. Now, it would be nice to have the best record in the American League. I'm not sure exactly where the Houston Astros are, but,
meh.
Okay. I'm not panicking. Like, if the Rays lose this game, it's not, let's tear everything apart. Let's burn the city down. Let's relax a little bit with some of our comments here.
They're 3 games out.
Okay.
The Houston Astros to the Rays. So they've got 90 wins. Rays have 93. So
yeah. And the sucky Marlins are coming to town next. So, if you get swept then I'll be concerned.
Don't do that. Don't do that. We did that I did that
with
the
very
Tigers.
Respectable.
There you go.
And challenging at times Miami Marlins.
The Marlins are coming. Watch out.
Fair enough. Yeah. Citrus Series, biggest rivalry in all of sports. Don't at me. Okay, that wraps up this edition of the Locked On Rays podcast. Remember to tell your smart device to play the most recent episode of the Locked On Bets podcast. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you